Hey, what's going on? Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. Excited for got another chance for another episode. Episode 69. 69 is in the building. And I just wanted to start this off by telling everybody Happy New Year. A very happy New Year to you all. This is 2022. 2022. We are in 2022. I tell you, that's crazy. I don't know what's going on with my camera, but we're gonna see if we can get this started right. There we go. There we go. We got everything going. How everybody doing again? Happy New Year. I hope everybody had a wonderful time, a wonderful New Year, a wonderful Christmas. Spent time with family and friends. I'm just excited again for we bringing in 2022. 2022. That means that we've been here for a while. So I'm just thankful for it, and thank you guys for tuning in. And we starting off this new year. We're gonna start this new year off right, and just setting the tone with what we got. I mean, tonight conversation is gonna be a conversation to remember. Let me just share this a little bit. Like again, make sure you comment. Let me know where you're tuning in from. What's going on, where you tuning in from, where you watching the show from. Again, I am down in the nice and tropic weather of Augusta, Georgia, and we're just gonna do this thing. So again, I'm just excited again just by continuing to keep this going. I'm sharing this like I usually do. Make sure you share this, invite somebody in. But besides that, man, we just excited beyond measure because you know what? It's a new year. New year. It is a new year. So 2022. We got my man. What's going on, Darius? How you doing, man? Hey, shout out to you, my brother. Congrats on closing on your house, man. God's doing great things in your life, man. And continue to trust him, continue to be an example, and continue to let the world know you got one of the meanest sock game in the world. So I appreciate what you do, man. I appreciate your energy, man, and I'm proud of what God is doing through you. Just again, man, thank you guys so much. You guys don't know what this means to me just to be able to come on and on a weekly basis. And we've been going, we've been So we back in this thing, man. We back in this thing. I will tell you, my internet connection just went out. I don't care about that because we back in the building. Thank you guys. Happy New Year. Make sure you share this with somebody because I'll tell you tonight's show is going to be one to remember and one I think going to really set the tone for a lot of us to start the new year off. Let me share this a few more times and boom, we're about to jump right into it. So again, man, just want to say Happy New Year to you all. And I'm excited about what is transpiring in my life. 2020 was a year to remember for me. It was a year where I got to a place, and I posted earlier on my page that I said what 2020 taught me as I was reflective earlier today, just reflective on what 2021 has taught me. It taught me the importance of taking time to learn and love myself while freeing myself from other people's expectations. And I know that can be a hard thing to do. And I wrote a song on my album. I released this in September. Finally free, and I talked about that. I'm free from expectations, and I'm free from what you think. I'm freeing myself from a lot of things that I put a lot of time and energy to that I really wasted my time. Not so much wasting my time, but I allocated the most precious resource I have is time to things that wasn't going to add value to my life. So I just started to reprioritize and also figuring time out for yourself, because I think a lot of times we get so caught up in life that we just do things and we don't even realize the why behind why we're doing it. What's going on, Robert? How you doing? Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year's to you. But with all that being said, we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. And what I wanted to talk about was say it's time to eliminate your excuses, acknowledge your limitations, and work towards a better you. I said it again. It's time to eliminate your excuses. Eliminate your excuses, because we all got them. It's time to eliminate your excuses. Acknowledge your limitations, because we all have limitations. We're all limited. And then work towards a better you. Work towards a better you. Hey, Miss Geraldine, how you doing? She said, Happy New Year. She called me teacher. I said, I got those excuse packed. Now my limitations, and look out 2022. It will be a new me. So don't be surprised when I say no, no, no. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. With that being said, I talk about my album. I released my album in September. And with that release, it's a song on there. The last song the last song on the album is titled "Eliminate Excuses." And the kind of the story behind this, I wrote this song back in March as I was driving back from Kansas to Alabama and Georgia. On the drive down, I heard this track, and the idea of eliminating excuses came. And this is very straightforward, hardcore, not necessarily straightforward, but very authoritative. This song is full of candor. But it talks about a lot of things we're going to talk about, have a conversation on tonight. So I'm about to bring it up right now and let everybody hear from it. So if you want to go check it out, it's on YouTube. You can look up Proverbs, Eliminate Excuses. You can look that up. But that is this, and this is what I'm going to play. So I hope you guys can enjoy it and listen to the lyrics of this song.
You can call me a hater. I do it in love because I want us on the path to be greater. The time is now and not later. Not looking for a debater. You've been blessed with the flavor of the Almighty Creator. You created for greatness, and it's time that you see it. You need to hear it, then you speak it, and you start to believe it. It's time to put in the work and develop the gift. Because complacency will come in and it lose really sweat. But only His word of God and the swallow His word. With the sweat on your face, I have my shake and my stir. Don't mean you won't have to try. Don't mean you won't have to test. When you walk through the best, I swear you come out the best. You know the source of your strength, so you can't even be it. You can see the confidence, we still like to see it. I push my joke in the Lord. I'm never chasing the cloud, because I know who I am, and I give no room for doubt. don't do the work. Nobody cares you get your feelings hurt. Because it's time to start producing. Eliminate all those excuses. From the ghetto, from the slum, had no money, had no resources, had no money, had no resources, had no friends, and you even ostracized. You didn't tell that you been ostracized. I tell you that's all that you be telling. I tell you that's all that it's time to see out. You know the cost that come off you. That's why we have to go out. That's why we have to then find somebody who knows. Then find somebody who knows. And I promise you, bro. And I promise you, bro. And always try for your best. Because the key to success is to change your mindset. Sometimes you might have to change. Because some things you won't know. Don't let this overcome you. Your opportunity go. You have to stay on your grind. Remember never to quit. Because sometimes when you get hard, I tell you you feel for this. It's time to elevate and educate. It's time we all can evaluate the things we know they are state. Cause we know we have no time to wait. We know we have no need to talk if you ain't gon' do the work. No need to talk if you ain't gon' do the work. Nobody cares you get your feelings hurt. Nobody cares you get your feelings hurt. Because it's time to start producing. Because it's time to start producing. Eliminate all those excuses. Eliminate all those excuses.
So I just want to say, well, Happy New Year, Montia. Happy New Year. Yeah, you know how we do. Roll Tide, Roll Tide. Valencia, Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you. So I just wanted to just talk about that, and I did that song, and just want to say that to preface what we're going to talk about tonight: eliminate excuses. And you see, if you listen to the lyrics in the song, you know, and the hook, it said, "No need to talk if you ain't gonna do the work." Nobody cares you get your feelings hurt. Because it's time to start producing and eliminate out all of our excuses. So the reason why the hook is why it was kind of like the candle behind it is, you know, a lot of things we talk about New Year resolutions, people make new promises and have ideas about what they want to do. But a lot of it is just stop at the ideas because it's not the commitment behind it to do the work or to make the sacrifices or to be disciplined enough to do the work that it takes to manifest those things that we say that we want. And a lot of us, we just really have the idea of things, but not the desire to really bring it to fruition. And that's what I want to talk about tonight about. It's time to eliminate excuses because guess what? Like the illustrious coach, Coach Smith, Curtis Smith used to say, he said, you know, excuses are like an a-hole. Everybody got one and all of them stink. And when I was younger, you know, that was funny. But, you know, as I get older, you know, there's always an excuse that can be given. And no matter what, it may be justified. You may can justify it. It may be a valid excuse. But the reality is if that excuse is stopping you from achieving or doing something that you set your mind to do, or a goal that you set your mind to do, the world don't care. That's why I said it's time. No need to talk about it if you're not going to do the work. That's why I said in the song, don't nobody care you get your feelings hurt. The world don't care. Other people don't care. They don't care what excuse you have. They don't. They don't. You got to go out and get it. You know, and I said on the show about a month and a half ago, I was just talking about in 2021, I was in thought, and one of the things that came out while me being in thought, one of the games that for me thinking about it was I thought about me and my story. All right, everybody has their story. Everybody has their story. I was saying February, if the Lord's willing, February the 18th, I'll celebrate 22 years in the military. 22 years. I joined in 2000. It's 2022. I can remember joining 8 days after my niece was born, and she's a senior in college right now. So I'm just talking about the time that has went by, the time that has transpired. This is not tooting no horn. This is just talking about my story. I remember flunking out of college, and I'm saying that because I want people to know it ain't always like, you know, everybody want to paint a pretty picture. I failed out of college. I went to Alabama A&M out of high school. You know, flunking out of A&M because I never went to class. It wasn't that I couldn't do the work. I just never went to class because I was preoccupied with extracurricular activities during the nocturnal time of the day. I would just put it like that. But I end up flunking out of school, and then just deciding that, you know what, I surrendered, gave my life to God, and I said, Lord, order my steps. And he showed me the Army, and I went in the Army. Joined the Army, excelled in the military, got promoted, went from E1 to E7 in 8 years, E1 to E6, 4 years, 4 months, got selected for Green to Gold, got commissioned as an officer, and then now successfully made it all the way up to the rank of major. So I've been promoted 11 times in 21 years. A lot of people can say, man, that's great. You accomplished a lot. But when I showed up to Fort Drum, when I showed up to my current job, they didn't care about what I had to went through or what I accomplished when I got there. They expected me to do that job. And that's why I want to preface that about, it's not that it's something I shouldn't be proud of, because I'm very proud of it. But the reality is the other people of the world don't care, because it's not their reality. And I think a lot of times we expect other people to validate what we feel like we should do on the inside. And a lot of that is tied up with excuses. I ain't had the support that they have, or I didn't have this. And we compare ourselves to other people with other things. In actuality, don't nobody care. Either you're going to put forth the work or you're not. If you start out with an advantage, or if you don't, if you want to accomplish, you just got to put the work in. You have to put the work in, or you can sit back and feel like you have a valid excuse. And then at the end of your life, you can sit there and say, you know what, I didn't accomplish that. And you live with the regret for not putting forth that effort. And I know a lot of times at the beginning of the year, we have a new start and we want to renew, we want to start over. And I get that. But in that renewing, when we're talking about a renewing, and you're thinking about things that are renewed, if you're looking at if you just look at the word renew, if you look at anything where life comes from, where life is birthed from, something has to either be broken down completely or it has to die. So just let's look at a seed, for example. If we want to yield from that seed, we plant that seed in the ground. That seed first has to die in order for life to spring from it. And if you go to YouTube right now and just pull up a seed and just look at, let's say, the life from seed to a plant, and you'll see that seed dies, and then the roots from that grows down, and then the plant or whatever, or the crop or whatever, the tree springs forth. If you have an acorn drop on the ground and it goes in, and it goes through the process of renewing, of a change. A caterpillar has to be concealed in a cocoon before it can go through the transformation, the metamorphosis. It can go through that process. And in that process, it may feel like that you are losing. It may feel like you're losing in that moment, because in that moment, you may be like, God, dog, man, it don't feel like I got all of these excuses. I can't move. If everything feel like it's falling off, everything feel like it's dying. And we just look at the seasons of the year. Look at the season of the year, where the fall going into winter, and then into spring, into summer. You go through different seasons in our lives, and we all have different areas in our lives where we may want to grow, or we may be at a place where we feel stagnant, and we may be like, man, I'm tired of dealing with this. I want to get better. I want to do a little bit better. How can I actually do that? How can I do that? And it come to that point to where, you know what, we have to first yield. And that yielding is an acknowledgement that, you know what, I understand what my limitations are. And that's what I talk about. First, we got to eliminate excuses. And in order to yield, we have to acknowledge the reality of where we at and be willing to do what we need to do to move forward. A lot of times we know where we at, but then we are really not tired of the situation. We're just frustrated with the situation. We're not tired of the situation. We're frustrated with the situation. And the difference between being frustrated with a situation and being tired, when you're frustrated, you continue to engage and entertain that reality. But there's no change. That's when you're frustrated. When you're tired, you're going to do what you need to do, and it doesn't matter what the cost is. It doesn't matter what the cost is. You know, have you ever, I want to, you ever had something that I'm trying to, a lot of people may be frugal. and always looking at prices. But it's some stuff, like me, I'm a bargain shopper. Like, I don't know if y'all see, like, a lot of the t-shirts I wear, so I do what I want. This one of them Walmart specials, the 788s. Y'all know what I'm talking about? That you can spin around and they have like the Captain America or the Hey Arnold. That's why I be buying a lot of my shirts. I buy a lot of my polo shirts from Walmart. I mean, you get it for like $6. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the reality is I wear my uniform majority of the time. I do have nice things, but it's certain things that I won't spend my money on. There's certain things that I will spend my money on. Like me going to the studio, I'm gonna make sure that I spend my money on good quality studio. That's just my personal preference. That's just me. It's certain things that we know we spend our money on because we understand the value of it. The difference between being frustrated is we're not really it irritates us, but it's not to the point to where I'm gonna do what I need to do to get rid of it or to take care of it. Now, when you get tired of it, you're gonna do what you need to do to change it. And that's just saying, just being tired or being sick and tired. When you're tired of being sick and tired, that's when it propels you to action. Despite the odds, it propels you to action. And I would tell you, it's like, you never want to back a raccoon up in the corner, or back an animal up in the corner, because when you start eliminating all of the options that's left, you get into fight or flight. You get into that mode of survival mode. I'm gonna do whatever I got to do and take it on. I can remember it's a video where a hawk came down and tried to attack a chicken, her babies, and that hen beat the hawk. Like, the hen put it to that hawk, to the point to where that hawk, it looked like an eagle or a hawk or something, backed up and flew away, because that mother was willing to risk it all to protect her young. That's when we get tired to that point to where we really won't change. A lot of times, frustration, we just really want sympathy. We want people to empathize with us in that situation. Hey, Ceylon, how you doing? And that's what really, a lot of times, that's why you hear people talking. That's why we give excuses. I want to lose some weight. I'm going to lose some weight, man. My weight been bothering me, and I know my knees bad, back been hurting. I know I need to drop these couple pounds, but you don't want to lose no weight. You just want an easier way where, something that you can do easy, because you don't want to put that work in. You don't want to sacrifice and stop drinking them sodas. You don't want to drink more water. You don't want to work out. You don't want to put that time in, and it's the time is there. You have the time. You just don't want to prioritize, because that is something that you really don't want to do. And that's just one thing. And because everybody talking, I'm gonna lose this weight, I'm gonna do this, that, and the third. But that is the reality. But a lot of times we just frustrated. We just want somebody to sympathize with it. We just say, child, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna cut out. I'm gonna lose this weight. And the first thing we do is we search the internet for quick fixes. We search the internet for shortcuts. What's the new theme, and what's the new trend, and what's the new quick results? What's the new? I remember back in the 80s and 90s, they had the Atkins diet, and they had all of these stuff, and then Weight Watchers and all of this stuff. And I'm not talking about medical conditions. I'm just talking about you not wanting to change. We want, and this is the thing. And I said this before. This is one of my saying. I say it again. I said the simplicity of life is that life is all about choices, and with each choice, there's a consequence, either good or bad. That's life in its simplest form. Is that life is a series of choices that we have to make, and with each choice, there's a consequence that comes from that choice, either good or bad. That's how simple life is. The complexity of life is that we want the freedom to make the choices, but the ability to control the consequence. That's when life becomes complex. And the reason why I say it becomes complex in a situation where I want the freedom to eat whatever I want to eat. I want the freedom to do whatever I want to do, but I want the ability to manipulate the consequences so it can come out in my favor when it doesn't work that way. We got some comments. Robert said, amen, being frustrated but not tired of a situation. A lot of us live in that place. Yes, we dwelled in that place. Dwell in that place, because in that place, Robert, the roommate of being frustrated is excuses. The roommate of being frustrated is excuses, and I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna deal with that. What's going on, Portia? Happy New Year to you. It's the first day of the year, so I'm gonna be nice, tell you I love you, but that may not last tomorrow. Shaylon said, when you get tired of feeling bad about whatever it is, you will move. Yes, but I will also say that, Robert, the roommate to being frustrated is excuses. Now, Ceylon, the problem with excuses is the problem with being roommates with excuses for so long, we can start to feel as if they are family or they are part of our family and they are blood with us. And we can begin to embrace them as family, and we can begin to identify ourselves as if we are kin to them. We are kin. We identify ourselves, associate ourselves with that excuse, even though we don't have to, even though it's a roommate that is living with us, that we are holding, we are the landlords, but we're allowing that roommate to stay rent-free, the roommate of excuse to live rent-free in our own lives. And we got the ability to kick them out at any moment. But because we spend so much time with them, we begin to get so comfortable with them because they become a place of familiarity. Or a lot of those excuses we use as crutches not to deal with, to keep us from dealing with the what we accept and acknowledging our limitations, acknowledging it. Now, and I will say this, and this just reminds me of the story of the man in the Bible that was by the pool of Bethesda. And the Bible said he was there for 38 years. For 38 years. And I kept at that 38 years, I was like, God, dog, that's a long time. That is a long time. 38 years. I'm 42. That means that 38 years that man was, because he was at the right place. So if you look at it in the Bible, it talks about the pool of Bethesda. They said an angel of the Lord came down and stirred the water, and people would place people in the water and they would be healed. The thing that stood out to me in that story was the fact that the Bible said he was there for 38 years waiting on somebody to put him in the pool. But what I thought about was he got to the place every day for 38 years, but he was expecting somebody else to put him in the pool so that he can get the healing that he needs. And that was shocking to me of the mindset that a lot of us have with those excuses. He had excuses for 38 years. He was in the right place at the right time with the wrong mindset. And when I talk about excuses, I'm talking about the mindset, being willing to change that mindset, change your mindset that will motivate you to change the behavior needed so that it can put forth the work towards manifesting the desired outcome that you want. Now, the Bible said a man was lame. We talking about he was lame. And it was so funny that when Jesus came and he had an encounter with Jesus, the Bible didn't say Jesus took his hand out, touched him, and he was healed, or it didn't say Jesus prayed for him. It didn't say anything. Jesus had a conversation with him and asked him, do you want to be made whole? And the man said, yes. And Jesus said, well, take up your bed, take up that place that you've been identified by, take up that excuse and walk. Take up that excuse and walk. That's what he told him. And I was thinking about it, man, over this past year. I was like, dang, man, a lot of things that I look back over my life, I'm expecting other people to come in and do for me. I wasn't willing to change my mindset because I had allowed excuses to become my unpaying roommate to live rent-free in my life, in that area in my life. Other areas I'm already addicted to excuses. Those areas where I feel strong and triumph in. Boom, it ain't no problem for me. Those areas, because we all got areas where it come easy for us, come natural for us. Boom, I let it go. Boom, you gone. But wait a minute. What about this area? Now I'm gonna keep them excuses, because guess what? That excuses feed the ego of my pride. And my pride is saying, I don't want to release control. But the funny thing about it is me saying I don't want to release control is I ain't in control of it anyway. That's why I said it's time. Going whatever it is that you want to manifest in 2022, whatever it is, whatever change that you want to see in your life, eliminate all excuses that you brought forward with it. Eliminate all excuses. Write it down and say, you know what? Whatever excuse it was, hey, I'm starting back school, man. I got a busy work. No, I don't care about the work schedule. I'm going to make time, because when something is important to you, you will make time for it. Period. Period. I don't care what it is. You will make time for it. You will make time for it. I can remember everybody. I don't know if y'all remember what's the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Classic. Going up 1980s classic. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Little Shop of Horror. Y'all remember the guy Rick Moranis, the lead actor in that, the nerdy looking white guy with the glasses, Rick Moranis. Y'all remember Honey, I Shrunk the Kid? He was making all these big hit movies, and then we didn't see him anymore. Come to find out, he left acting. He left the movie industry to raise his kids. He left the movie industry to raise his kids because his kids was a priority to him. Not the millions and the lure of fame and fortune. His kids was a priority to him. So he chose his kids over the fame and the fortune and the acclaim of being a big time movie actor, a box office movie actor, because he prioritized his kids. So he made time for his kids. We control who and what we give our time to. We can blame it on that job. We can say that job, the job they doing. Man, no, you want to get into that job. You want to do that. That's what you're choosing to do. If you're neglecting your family for whatever, you're choosing to do that. That dollar ain't what it is. That dollar sign, whatever you can try to, and then this is what I'm talking about with these excuses. Well, that job, I'm just trying to work hard to get in what I didn't have, and I just want them to be struggling like I struggle. All of that is excuses for you to chase that, because that's something that you feed for yourself, and you're using those excuses. You're using those excuses as a means to try to justify the neglect that you're choosing to neglect those that are close to you, and that is a lie. You're wrong. You're choosing to do it. Don't use it as an excuse. Take ownership. Own up to it. Don't use this as an excuse. And acknowledge when I'm talking about knowledge, acknowledge your limitations. When I say you eliminate your excuse, then you transition to acknowledging your limitations. Acknowledging your limitations is recognizing the reality of who you are in that moment, who you are in that place in your life, who you are right now. That's acknowledging your limitations. Because a lot of us, we don't want to act as if we don't change. We don't want to act as if, we the same person that we were when we were 21. Now I'm 32. I feel like I'm the same. No, you change. You have different change. You have different desire. Your kids grow. And I'm speaking that I don't know why. I know why I'm being obedient. When your kids, as you grow older, especially when you have younger kids and they get older, they have different needs from you. And you have to make decisions on those things. Your life demands change. Your parents may get older. You may have to take care of some other things, some other responsibilities. You have increased responsibilities on the job. You have all these other things that may be happening. And you can't just sit there and expect, don't understand that you have some limitations. You have to acknowledge those limitations. Acknowledge those limitations help you to say, I need help. Or it help you prioritize, say, hey, I can't do this right now. I need to do this, or I need to do this. Don't be that person who don't take the time to acknowledge their limitations and in their mind feel like they can do everything, but end up neglecting the majority of things and living in regret later on. Yeah. Living in regret later on because you didn't take the time to properly prioritize in that moment. Be real with yourself. Acknowledge your limitations. And that's why I said, so like in my song, like I played earlier, in my song, Eliminate Excuses, I talked about you have to get you a plan, because in the second part of the song is just straight up. I started off with all the excuses that I hear a lot of people say. A lot of people say a lot of things about excuses, especially when you start talking about overcoming odds and overcoming obstacles and overcoming barriers and overcoming generational, overcoming poverty, overcoming a lot of things. You know, a lot of us, we have a lot of people give you a lot of excuses, and especially in the Black community. That's why in the song, in the second verse, I just said, you from the gutter, you from the block, you from the ghetto, you from the slums. You had no money, you had no resources, had nothing from day one. You've been stressed and oppressed, and you've even ostracized. You've been told that you be nothing, but I tell you, that's all lies. And I said all of that because of all of the excuses that people love to give of why they don't do what they're supposed to do, or why they haven't done the things that they're supposed to have done. Oh, yeah, it's hard. Yes, it's hard. I'm not sitting here trying to acknowledge it, that it's not hard to overcome. You being a child and thrust into adult responsibilities and being robbed of your childhood because you've been having to fulfill the responsibilities of an adult. Nobody's telling. I'm not sitting here being insensitive to that at all. I know a lot of people that have had to endure that. Facts. Kids that had to take on grown folks' responsibility because other grown people ain't fulfilled their responsibility. You're a young kid and you're the oldest child, and you pretty much have to become the second mom or second father and raise other kids, while your single mom or single dad had to go out there and do what they had to do so you to survive. That ain't fair. That's not fair. That's not easy. That's not nothing to laugh at or joke about. But like I said before, this ain't being insensitive, but the world do not care that you had to deal with it. The world don't. It's up to us to acknowledge it, know that there was a limitation, right? And then say, you know what? Yeah, that wasn't fair to me, but guess what? I'm willing to do what I need to do, because just like Eric Thomas said, and I keep saying it on here, Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, he said, your pain may not have been your fault, but your healing is your responsibility. Don't walk around in life wounded for the rest of your life, all because of you don't want to acknowledge that somebody else hurt you. You may never get somebody to come back and take ownership of what they did for you. That's fine. I'm not telling you that's not something to work through, but what I'm telling you is I just want to acknowledge that, because a lot of us are walking around with these excuses. And that's what I talked about in this song. And then I said, it's time to stand up and fight and overcome all the odds. You know, the cards stacked against you. That's why you have to go hard. And this is where what I talked about, getting to the place of acknowledging your limitations. You have to get you a plan and find somebody who knows. Then submit to their mentorship, and I promise you grow. Now, the reason why I said that is because a lot of times in our limitations, when we realize our limitations, when we acknowledge it, we realize that this is the area where I'm weak in, but we can find somebody that already did a lot better further along in those areas and connect with them, and they can help you navigate the area where you in so you can overcome that. That you ain't spinning you're not spinning your wheels on it. I would tell you, it is something powerful to connect with somebody that already been down that road you're going down, and they have all of the steps where you ain't wasting your energy. That can help you accelerate your healing or whatever area that you're deficient in. That's why I say you have to get you a plan, though. You can't just get out there and willy-nilly. You got to say, you know what, this is where I want to be. The Bible said, write the vision and make it plain. You have to get there and write it down. Write it down. What steps do I need to get here? I remember when I wanted to be an officer, I said I wanted to go green to gold. And guess what I did? I went to Google. It's an Army green to gold requirements. And I looked to see what the requirements were. And at the time, I had a majority of the requirements with the exception of college credits. And I was short college credits. So guess what I did? I re-enlisted. At the time, the Army was doing a re-enlistment option where they allow you to go to school. I went to school. It was a 6-month period that it ain't be 6 months. I ended up getting tasked to go to the deployment, but I was able to get enough credits that I needed to submit my paperwork. And I'm talking about it from that perspective. I went to somebody, I went to Google, and I went to ask other people that did it. I got the information, and it helped me get me the information, but I still had to do the work. I still had to go to class. I still had to do all of those things to put myself in position to take advantage of it. Now that's why I said before, it's time to eliminate your excuses, acknowledge your limitations. The acknowledging your limitations position you. First of all, it helps give you a good azimuth of where you at right now. Where you at right now. All right. So if you say the one of the number one New Year's resolution, I'm gonna lose weight. Okay, how much do you weigh now? That's what you first got to realize, where I weigh now. Okay, what's my limitation? Where's my fitness level? Because I can't just go out there and think I'm gonna go run 10 miles and I ain't did anything. You see what I'm saying? And then now find out where you at, so now you can connect with somebody, maybe a personal trainer, maybe a friend, maybe somebody, maybe a group, get out there. And how do I go from beginner to and increase? And those are the things where I'm talking about acknowledging your limitation. I just use weight loss because weight loss is one of the big things when you talk about New Year, right? And then the last part, what I was talking about, is work towards a better you. You can't get better if you don't acknowledge or accept the reality of where you at. If you feel like you good, but then you frustrated, that's the difference between a lot of times when we frustrated, we know we're not in the right place where we supposed to be. But we are comfortable with it because we're in a place where we're not willing to commit to being a better us. And we can get by on our mediocrity. We can get by on our mediocrity. And what I mean by that is because we compare it to others. And one thing I don't like doing is I do not like comparing myself to anybody, because that is, and I like I have this concept that my mindset, my ideology that I adopted is I compete against myself, because nobody on the earth that has ever existed in the history of mankind that can outdo me being me. Nobody. But if I try to go and beat LeBron James, I'm 5'10". I ain't 6'9", 260. Athletically gifted like that. I couldn't outdo him being him. I have to be me. You see what I'm saying? I have to be me. And if I compare myself to other people, I may just be naturally better than other people in a certain area, and I can rest on my laurels on that. I take it like this, and I like to use this analogy. There's two analogies. The first one I like to say, small town girl, the prettiest girl in her school, and in her mind, she a dime upon dimes, right? Then she go to college, then she below average, and it's a culture shock. It's a big fish, little pun. Got some comments. Cherie Bryan said, "Come on," and she said, "No more excuses. No more excuses." When I talk about no more excuses, Montia said, "Choices." It was about choices. Yes, it is your choices. She said, "Say it again. Say it again." When I was speaking a little bit earlier, my cousin Lou, that boy fool. He said LeBron would destroy you. Facts. Just like you would destroy me trying to play a saxophone the way you blow that saxophone, cuz. But I'm just being honest. So, I can learn things from other people. I can pick up on attributes from other people. But I have to I focus on spending all my time and energy of being Robert Shepard, being me. Not being my daddy, not being my mama, not being anybody else, but being me. And what I found is I find peace I find solitude and fulfillment in me giving my best efforts, regardless of the outcome, how I'm compared with against with my peers or others. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of times when we rest on just being naturally better than other people, it's just like it's like you running track, and the whole year you getting medals because you're coming in second place and third place, but there's only 2-3 people running. And it's like you the best one in your school. You the fastest person in your school. You killing everybody. Boom, first place at the local track meet. Local track meet. You killing local track meet. You're not going against any competition. And you just comfortable. You don't even work hard to get better. You just resting on your laurels. And boom, you get the state. You don't even place. You get blown out because you never push yourself to get better. That's why I'm just saying I'm Alabama fan, but I'm a huge Nick Saban fan because he's constantly competing against. He has the mindset of competing against yourself, getting better every day, get better than where you were yesterday, and that is something about that will fuel your willingness to put in the work or work towards being a better you, because you have to first get to the places where you acknowledge and realize that dang, you may not be what you think you are. You may not be what you think you are. And this is a thing too. It's really an insult to God, the creator, your creator, when you spending all that time and energy trying to be somebody else and not really be yourself. Lou said, hey, I love you too, cuz. Love you too, cuz. You be speaking the truth too. Miss Geraldine said, when you try to be somewhere else, you imitate and lose out on the real thing. Yes, I didn't say that you couldn't learn from other people. It's not to say nothing ever said that you can't learn from other people. No, that's not what I'm saying. Yes, and Montia said it. She said you can only hold the facade for so long, and you will be exposed. You will be exposed. Listen, I will tell you this, right? For a person being who I am, when I've learned to embrace being me and competing against myself, I'll find myself more willing to share, more willing to help people. I'm talking about help people who I'm literally in competition with, help my peers on the job that I'm literally being rated against. I'm more than willing to help them out, help them be better. Because I'm not concerned about me being compared to them. If I help them and they get better and they get rated higher than me, so what? I'm being honest with you. I am not controlled by that at all because my focus is me getting better. I do not feel good. I can remember being in the 7th grade, and I can remember playing with my boys, Pat, Quincy, in JV basketball. And one game, we did not play well at all, but we won the game. And I can remember riding the bus with Coach Smith. Shout out to Coach Smith, Chris Smith. Learned a lot from you, man. Learned a lot from you. You did a lot for me. And at the time, I didn't know. I told you this before, but I just want to publicly shout you out and thank you for your commitment to pouring back into young man and helping us find ourselves and find our way. You mean a lot to me, and I know you've done that for so many others, but I just want to personally give you a shout out. I know I text you on your birthday that recently had, but I personally want to give you a shout out for what you did for me. But I can remember we won the game, but it felt like we lost because we didn't play well. So there wasn't nothing to celebrate. And I can remember another game where we played well, but we lost, and it felt like we won the game. And I know that's kind of like an oxymoron, especially with today's world today, where everything is always about winning. Winning matters, and winning at all costs, and win. But for me, if it's not my best, there's nothing to celebrate. I can accept defeat when I maximize my potential. Because if you're just better than me in that moment against a score, fine. If I lose and I set a personal record, I'm celebrating because I've outdid myself. And that's just my mindset. Some people may not agree with it. But guess what? When I have that mindset, Nobody can ever accuse me of. I never had to worry about being exposed for not being authentic. Never had to worry about that at all. Never had to worry about being called a fraud. Never had to worry about that at all. And that's something that I take peace in. But that putting that work in, like I said, transition from eliminating excuses to acknowledging your limitation and work towards a better you. That work, you got to put that work in, boo. You got to put that work in, bro. You got to put that work in. I would tell you, don't shy away from putting that work in. Because when you put that work in, nobody can take that away from you. I would tell you, man, like, I'm a very hands-on type of guy. I'm a hands-on guy because I like to understand and know the process. I like to understand the process and know the process, especially in the level of management now. You know, I'm not one of those where I just accept everything and just come and you just brief me numbers. I want to know that process. I want to know, and not so much to where I'm the subject matter expert and I'm the technical expert on everything. No, but I want to understand that process enough to where I can know if you trying to bring me some booty chatter. If you trying to, I know what makes sense and what don't make sense. I can be engaged enough to understand the process and push in the right buttons to get the results, the desired results needed. That's just who I am. Because when you do the work, they can't take it away from you. People can't take that away from you. And you just got to do the work. You got to be committed to doing the work. Committed to doing the work. There's nothing you will achieve without you doing the work. I'm just sorry. You have to put in that work. You have to put in that work. My cousin Lou, phenomenal. Go check him out, man. Lou Harris. If you want some, I'm talking about some jazz type, a saxophone instrumental. Man, he's the guy. He put in work to play that instrument. Yeah, he's gifted. Yeah, he got an ability, a natural ability on things, but he put that work in. He put them hours in. He practiced over and over. He put that work in. He put that work in. So that when the time came for him to manifest or to grow or to become what he is right now, he's prepared for it. He's prepared for it. So that I just wanted to just kind of encourage people to do that. Eliminate those excuses, man. Get them out the window. Stop saying you want to do something when you know you ain't willing to deal with the excuses that you've been getting. Stop saying you want to be married, but you don't want to let go of having a single mindset. Stop saying you want that promotion when you barely want to do the job you're doing right now. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have to start saying, you know what? I say this, and I'm speaking from personal thing. I remember being in Korea in 2015, working for LaTanya Jordan. Mika said this mango juice should be eliminated. No. This stuff is there's some good stuff here. I had to get me a swig of it, but you know, you got to get to a place to where you just have to get to a place personally to where you say, hey, I cannot expect to receive anything that I don't prepare for. I don't prepare for. And I can look at it being in Korea in 2015 with Colonel Jordan. I was her operations officer. And it was a new job for me, a job I never really had no experience on coming into. But the first 2 months, it was hard because it was like drinking from a fire hydrant. It was just so much coming. But one thing I started to realize was what started to click for me was, okay, I was working hard. Watch this. I was working hard, long hours, getting it in, learning the operations process, learning how to write operations orders, learning how to communicate with subordinate units, with higher units, coordinating resources, training, allocating this for this company, that company, doing all of these things. I was doing all of these things, and I was finding myself getting tired. Then I said, you know what? I'm finding myself always in reactive mode. So I need to, what ways can I get ahead? And I started to think, well, what's important to my boss? And then what's important to my boss's boss? And then what's important to my boss's boss. And as I started to do that, I started to not so focus so much on right here, what was right in front of me, but I started to reading, find out what my battalion commanders, the highest of a battalion is a brigade in the Army, and how the brigade is division. So I started to figure out what was important at the division level, what was important at the brigade level, and what it started doing is giving me foresight of what would be important to my boss. And then I realized, okay, how does she like to receive her information? And so what I started to do was, because I took the time to think about that, I put in the work to gain that understanding to where it helped me get ahead of it. And I wasn't feeling like I was being overwhelmed anymore, because I got out of reactive mode and I started getting proactive. That's what I wanted to talk about, is when we get to that place where we start to do the work, doing the work becomes, we begin to be proactive. But first we got to eliminate excuses. Now the excuse I could have used was, well, I didn't have the people that I supposed to have. I didn't have the right personnel and the right skill sets that was working with me in my shop. So I could have said I didn't have that. I suppose I had 2 captains. I had 2 second lieutenants that was brand new to the military. I had my master sergeant, shout out to Master Sergeant retired Bird, phenomenal individual, phenomenal non-commissioned officer, somebody that I learned so much from, who genuinely had my back, and I appreciate him. And I had 5E5 that worked their butt off. They worked hard for me. And what I learned in that was, I could have complained about the team that I had. I could have complained that it wasn't what the Army said I was supposed to have by the book. But I started to put in the work. I didn't use that as an excuse. I realized my limitations. I realized the areas that I didn't know and things that I didn't know. So what I started to do was, I started to reach out and look at it and observe and ask for help for some of my peers, who at the time I was a captain, they were majors, to Lieutenant Colonel Battalion Commander now Ken Barber, who was a brigade operations officer, who kind of took me under his wing. And I watched him. I watched how he operated, and I took notes. And who Lieutenant Colonel Ward, Elijah Ward, who's a battalion commander right now serving in Korea. He was a fellow battalion operations officer who I took notes from, and I watched how he did things. And I just surrounded myself with people that I was able to pull from and learn from, because I had to acknowledge where my limitations are. First of all, you saw what I did. I eliminated those excuses, about the valid excuses that I had. I didn't have the right people. I didn't have the right grades. I didn't have the right experience. But guess what? I didn't do that. Then I acknowledged my limitations, and I started pulling from those people that was around me, already around me, positioned around me, that I could learn from. You had to get you a plan and find somebody who knows. Then submit to their mentorship, and I promise you grow. That's why I said in my lyrics. So that's why I did. Then I put in the work. I set these processes, the enduring processes that was going on. I started putting things in place to where, guess what? It started to work like a well-oiled machine. Started to work. My workload increased, but I wasn't overwhelmed, because I was able to manage it. I was willing to do the work. This ain't about me. I'm just talking about just that. Now, that area I was willing to boom, quick, easy area, boom, knock that out. But there's other areas in my life where I still got excuses to this day. And I'm not trying to act like I don't have excuses in the areas. I'm not going to sit here and try to act like that we don't have areas in our lives, or I don't have areas in my life, even today, that I'm struggling with those excuses. I'm struggling with acknowledging those limitations. And I struggle with the realization of, do I really want to put the work in? And my point, the reason why I say that is, don't complain about stuff that you ain't willing to put the work in to change. to manifest, to manifest the change that you say that you're saying that you want. No, and stop complaining about it. Listen, a lot of things in life, and I look back on things, and I'm looking back on things now. There's a lot of things I could have done that I didn't. All because I was too afraid to stop using those things as an excuse. I was too afraid to say, dang, stop using it. Well, my mom and them or my dad and them ain't teach me that. So, or, well, I ain't have this and I ain't have that. And then nobody showed me this and then nobody showed me that. I would tell you right now, there's so much resources out there. Shout out to, I want to give a shout out to my classmate, Frederick Ward. What I like about Fred is what I admire about him, and I tell him this all the time, is this man, I don't think he had an experience with like home remodeling or woodwork or stuff like that. This man and built the whole backyard deck. He's a real estate investor right now. And most of his properties, he do the work himself. He learned most of it on YouTube, self-taught, watching videos, reading books. That it is no limits to what you can accomplish when you eliminate excuse, when you acknowledge your limitations, and then you work towards a better you. You just have to sit down and write that out. You have to sit down and come up with that. You have to sit down and say, guess what? These are the things that I know that I need to do. Period. So 2022 coming around, what are those things in your life? What are those things in your life that you say, you know what? I know I need to improve on. I know I need to get better in these areas, right? Not asking you to do anything, make no resolution or proclamation or anything like that. Just write it down. Write it down and say, these are the areas or the things that I know I need to work on, right? And then start brainstorming on how can I improve on it. Or first of all, acknowledge somebody that acknowledge the areas that, because a lot of times we lie to ourselves more than anybody. So we'll sit there and be like, I'm good. No. Be honest with you. If you know for a fact, and watch this, eliminating excuses to stop blaming the other person. It doesn't matter how much a person brings to a problem. If you're in a relationship and the relationship is not strong, but you're blaming the other person for a portion of it, so what? Take ownership of the role you doing. Take ownership of the role you play. Take ownership of that. Take ownership of it. Stop. Don't even worry about it. Eliminate the other people. Eliminate other people from the equation and start dealing with you and making you a better person. Regardless of how that thing turn out, you will find yourself in a better position as a better person. You'll find yourself in a better position as a better person. Because like I said, I made a post a while ago. Everybody can't elevate with you because some people have reached their mountaintop and they choose to stay there. So stop getting mad when you're trying to elevate and get higher and go higher and be a better person. And people want to stay right there where they at. Some people are married to, they are committed. They have a lifeline commitment to mediocrity. And you just, and I'm being honest, you still can be involved with them people, but you start to realize is that if you're trying to operate at a band of excellence, and you're trying to associate with people that are committed to mediocrity, you're starting to realize that you have to limit the access that they have to you if you're trying to elevate. So I just say this, eliminate your excuses, acknowledge your limitations, and work towards a better you. Let's start 2022 off the right way. Let's start it off the right way. I would tell you, and working towards a better you takes some commitment, it takes some discipline. It does. And in order for all of this to happen, there has to be accountability. Has to be accountability. Got to make yourself accountable to somebody. Have to make yourself accountable to somebody. Have to. I would tell you, I don't know why that works so much. I just think that God created us to be in connection with social beings. But it's something about having somebody that you can be accountable to, who can provide that additional motivation so that you can do the necessary things you need to do to bring about that's why, think about it. People pay other people to help them get in shape. People pay personal trainers to develop a plan and to be there while they work out, to help keep them on task as they grow. I mean, as they meet their fitness goals. Why? Because why? Well, why can't they do it themselves? I'm telling you, it's hard. That thing is hard, man. It's hard. You know, we got different areas. Everybody got a strength, points where we strong and where we weak at, right? The whole goal is acknowledging it, understanding where our limitations are, reaching out to people that have done it before, get some help, and then put that work in. But first, you have to eliminate them excuses. No excuses. So what? I posted this a while ago. I think I'm gonna get some t-shirts made that say, so what? I can, I will, I did. And that's what it's gonna say. So what? I can, I will, I did. And so what is eliminating excuses? I can talk about, okay, this is what I can do. You acknowledge your limitations. I will, that's the actions that you're putting towards being a better you. And I did. You accomplished that goal. So say that again. So what? I can, I will, I did. And I say going into 2022, I pray that everybody have just a positive mindset. I know, you know, every year when we have years, we can have ideas about what we want. I can know that there's been some years that, man, it's been hell. And it's funny that last year, and I'm just like in a reflective mode right now. Last year, God said he was going to renew, revive, restore, and reveal. And I can say God really did that for me in 2021. He renewed some things, he revived some things, he restored some things, and he revealed some things. And so 2022 is going to be so what? I can, I will, I did. That's going to be my motto for 2022. A lot of things coming. I'm working towards some things right now. Just finished up some new music, some Army theme music, so I'm excited about that. Got some other plans, some major plans coming for this year. I say Army theme music, but it's really just, you know, Proverbs to music in the sense of wisdom to music, just doing music to help people. And I did a suicide and mental health awareness song. I'm working on another mental health song. I want to spread a message on eliminating the stigma tied to mental health, spread the message on suicide awareness, letting people know, hey, look, one is way too much. Let people know that they're not alone. Let people know that they have people in their corner. That's something that I want to do. I'm going to expand on here. I'm going to take the conversation, take it to YouTube in 2022. So it's time to grow, just grow. Because guess what? I've been talking about this for the last few years and talking about a lot of stuff and giving all these excuses about all this stuff. No more. Oh man, Valencia said her motto for this year is educate, execute, elevate. Really like that. Educate, execute, elevate. And I like that. Because before we can execute, we got to be educated. And before we can be elevated, we have to execute the task that we learn. Yes, I really do like that. And I pray that more 100-fold for you for this year. Not only that though, y'all want to shout out to Valencia. I'm gonna give her a shout right now. Valencia, could you please post your business information in the comment section. So listen, go and reach out to her. Look, she has these bracelets that she do that are phenomenal. I've already patronized her. Got one for my mom, and I've given one out too on the show as a gift on the show. Please reach out to her. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. So just give a shout out to her. Proud of what she's doing. She said this year is going to be educate, execute, elevate. Hey, anybody else? You got some things that you committing to this year? Hey, share them so we can share for other people. May motivate some other people. Robert said he's going to teach, inspire, and be the example. Teach, inspire, and be the example. So, hey, proud of you, man. We had some conversation. Looking forward to a lot of things that are gonna come forth this year. But he said, teach, inspire, and be the example. Yeah. So Robert has he just recently got his degree, and I had decided to continue my education and go get a dual master's degree. So get an MBA and an MA in management and leadership. So it's just time to do the work. Time to do the work. No more excuses. I don't care what my work schedule look like. I don't care about this, that, and the third. No, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I understand my limitations, knowing how many classes I need to take at the time, knowing what I got to do, what adjustments I got to do, what lifestyle changes I need to make. All of those things come into play. And do the work. Do that work, bro. Do the work. Because guess what? I can do it. So what? I can, I will, I did. I'm looking forward to 2022 to growing as a person and watching my kids grow. My son graduate. My youngest son graduates in graduate this year in May. So, man, time is flying by. I remember when he was born when I was in Iraq. That's how long ago I was deployed, going on 18 years ago. Matter of fact, I was deployed 18 years ago right now. But, hey, you guys, thank you guys for tuning in this week. I knew that this show was going to be a great show because guess what? When we started off, ain't never had to happen. Just internet just dropped off and said we had lost connection. Not worried about none of that because I knew that we were going to stay strong, and it was going to come through. Hey, so Hello Beautiful Queen is her business. Valencia, you can check her out at on Instagram at Hello Beautiful Queen, all one word. And as you go, I have it up in the I have it up. It's up right now on the screen at Hello Beautiful Queen. Please go and reach out to her. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. I gave my mom one and she really, really loves it. First class, how it comes with a declaration. It comes, the package of it is first class. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. No, not trying to belabor the point, but you guys have a great and wonderful time. So look forward to seeing the conversation, seeing this not only on Facebook, but also seeing it on YouTube. I'm going to grow it up, grow some things up, have some more free give outs, just trying to elevate, grow. And if you're not about growth, I still love you, but I'll shake your hand and move on. You guys have a great, blessed, and wonderful day. Happy New Year's to everybody. 2022 is in the building. Bye.